justice quite early on when I was a teenager. Not for all the right reasons, though. I was also interested in shows like Ally McBeal, and it was very glamorous. But I did do, yeah. But I did do my work experience with a barrister who was a criminal barrister,
Right.
and that was when I was 15. But at the time, after seeing what he was doing during the course of the week, and seeing him in court defending, in particular, one man who had assaulted another man outside of a pub, I realised that perhaps it wasn't something that I could do. But I didn't really realise how broad and extensive the law itself is, and how there's so many different sort of career paths you can have in it. So I always had the interest, but it didn't really become sort of full-fledged until I was maybe 22, 23, and I went back to study law, and from then I've pretty consistently been in the law and a practicing lawyer. So yeah, yeah.
How many years have you been practicing?
15.
15
yeah.
years. And when you chose the area of law that you're now working in, was that the first area of law, or did it evolve over a period of time as to where you chose to work where you are now?
It absolutely evolved. So I really started off working for massive organisations in a large, very large sort of multi-international law firm. And I was working in London at the time, working in intellectual property and outsourcing. So I went from that to sort of gradually working for smaller and smaller businesses. And more recently, over the last sort of 3 years or so, I've really focused on women. I think I have always been interested in the role women have played within the legal industry, but also in the business world as well. So that's how it evolved.
When you say that you're always been interested in the role that women have played in the legal system, what was that? What do you mean there?
So I think it really concerned me when I started in the law. There were probably about 50% of or more of us women, young women, studying law. So it sort of seemed that when we would graduate and become legal practitioners, that gradually there would be more and more women in the senior positions. And unfortunately, that hasn't been the case. So this is 15 years on, and there's still only 27% women partners in law firms, which just to me seems crazy, when 15 years ago, there were more women than men studying law. So we're losing incredible women in the legal industry, and it's not a good thing at all. And we can see what changes are required in the law by looking at people like, Ruth Bader Ginsburg's work, and how necessary that sort of work is to make sure that we keep working towards gender equality.
What do you think the drop in women has been? Why have they dropped out of the legal system and gone into some other profession? What is it that's really made them not want to pursue the career in the legal system?
So unfortunately, it's very hierarchical, the system in a lot of law firms, and it's very, very focused on the amount of time you're in an office and the amount of time you devote to the work. And even though women can incredibly successfully integrate working life with home and domestic life, if you're required to sit as a bum on a seat for a certain amount of hours a day and bill a certain amount of hours a day, it sometimes doesn't matter what sort of quality work you're doing. If you're just, present, then then the idea is that you get a leg up. So I don't think there's a lot of fairness. I think it's getting better, but unfortunately, it's not really the best environment for mothers. And so when a woman becomes pregnant or decides to have children, there are really hard questions that you end up asking yourself. You know, do I still want to work these sorts of hours within a law firm? And if not, then obviously that's where we're losing a lot of women.
Okay, you're a mum yourself and you're working in the legal system. You're not working for other lawyers. You're an independent lawyer yourself as
Yep.
a mumpreneur, and you look after women. And what sort of things do you see women needing in the legal system more than men?
So definitely women need more flexibility. So I offer things like evening appointments. So once the kids have gone to bed, then you can have a conversation with a lawyer, which is so much more easy than, say, taking all the kids into an office space where they have to, you know, we have to try to entertain them at the same time as listen to quite complex issues sometimes and get your head around them. And you know, legal issues sometimes are really hard to understand at the best of times, let alone with kids sort of at your legs and at your feet and demanding that they be taken to the toilet and the rest of it. So flexibility is a big one. Online appointments now, since COVID, obviously we've reaped some benefits, and that's the benefit of people being more accepting of having online appointments. So that's something that really benefits women as well, or mums in particular. Yeah.
And looking at, I mean, women who aren't lawyers or don't deal in the legal system but need your services, is there an education process where women can learn to understand why they need a lawyer or why they need a legal service? Because there is a thing called cost, and sometimes that cost is right out of their range, and so therefore they don't do anything. They might not deal with the issue in the way they need to, or they might get some shonky information that isn't good for them, that still costs them. So how do you educate women to understand the processes of the legal system so that they feel comfortable to find a lawyer who is actually able to assist them?
Yeah, so a big part of my work is doing that, is educating women to understand that it is so much cheaper, more effective, more professional to get your legal documents and all your legals, you know, your legal protections and things in place earlier rather than later. Because if you do sort of put your head in the sand or don't talk about those issues and really explore them at the beginning, that's when they become big issues. And I think we can see that, you know, with all sorts of things in life, you know, with a domestic relationship. If you don't sort of tackle it when it first comes up, it can just stew and things can get bigger. And that's when things end up in court. And probably the worst thing for any business owner is to have to, you know, deal with the financials of spending money on lawyers and in a dispute, but also the emotional and time costs that are taken up by a court case. And there's no guarantees, you know, so you may have a very strong case, but how much time you're going to spend fighting it, how much time are you going to take away from proactive, innovative ways of developing your business whilst you try to resolve that dispute. So yeah, part of my job, a big part, is educating women on being really proactive about their solutions and showing them that there are really cost-effective ways, and a lawyer doesn't have to cost the earth, and we do offer fixed costs. So you can really see what it costs up front, so you can budget and decide where you want to spend your money. And I can help with that too. So often, you know, people say, well, this is my budget, where's it best spent right now? And we can work together and figure out that.
And that's a really important part of what you do, is giving women the confidence that they can trust you to work with them. You're not going to rip them off. You're going to give them the right information, because you're a woman, you're a mum, you have a partner, so you have all those things that we all usually have in our life. And you have that understanding when someone comes in and gives you an issue that needs to be worked on. You basically have an understanding of it already, particularly if a mum's working, she's got children that are at school or at home, and she's juggling all these things, so that you can relate to that already. So there's a trust and a relationship that you can actually build prior to even starting.
Absolutely. And I'm not sure, I think I might have lost you there, but hopefully I'm back. Yeah, absolutely. And I love to hear other, you know, people's parenting journeys and things. And so it's really nice to relate easily to the women I work with. It's a lot of fun hearing startup stories and some of the ideas that women are coming up with, particularly this year. During the last 6 months, you know, we've been forced into this sort of chaos and disturbance, and often, you know, we have to think of creative solutions about how to deal with things, and I'm getting to hear about those solutions. That's really cool.
You are a part of that solution for them as well, so that's exciting. And you can watch them grow their business you know, from startup to creating whatever they want to create. It could be an empire, it could be something that they build and then they want to exit it, or whatever it might be. So it's really exciting for you to be able to do that sort of thing. Now, as a mum, but you also are writing a book at the moment. What's the title of the book, and what's the book
about? So it's called Back Yourself, and it's really inspiration and advice, sort of practical tips for women who'd like to start a business, or who are already in business who might need some extra inspiration and real practical tips. So there's 27 of us, 27 other authors, and we've all collaborated together to sort of contribute our personal stories. And yeah, it's really exciting. It's coming out very soon, and there's a Back Yourself online festival that starts next week. So it starts on the 1st of December, and it'll be going for a couple of days. There's lots of workshops and panels, and yeah, I think if you're a bit stuck for inspiration, if you're feeling a bit low in your business, it's the right place to be. Or even if you've just got the idea that you might want to start up, and you don't have to go for all 4 days. You could even just drop in when you feel like it. And I think there's still some free tickets available if you want to email me.
Beautiful. So that's fabulous. What else can you share? You know, you're a businesswoman. You are work in the legal system. You are a lawyer. And what can you share when someone is thinking about starting up a business? What's the most important thing for them to consider?
Obviously lots of considerations, but I think don't wait is my first one. Just don't, you know, everything you put off, it's what's, you know, there's no better time to start than right now and today. And even if that just means getting a few plans and ideas on paper, that's awesome. So that's my number one tip. Of course, you know, get your legals in order, because that will really create a professional approach to your business and make sure you're protected. Planning is a massive one. You know, if you plan for success, then, you know, you'll be outrageously successful. If you plan to fail, well, and then I think as a woman, it's really, really important to make sure we value ourselves and we're really clear on our own values, because that'll help inform us on the kind of direction that we want our business journey to go in. So there's no point in trying to become a global empire if you don't like managing loads of people, or if you don't want to have that sort of traveling your life or that sort of thing. So really look towards what exactly you want to do and why Simon Sinek's why are you doing it in the very first place. And once you can be really clear on those things, I think it makes for a smoother journey.
That's the why is a really important thing. Why are you doing it? Is it because you think business is fun? When you first start up a business, you're working 24/7 to get it up and running, and you're working a lot in your business for a long period of time, until such time that you get it to a stage where you can work in your business when you choose to and work on your business when the rest of the time. And yeah, I mean, I see lots of people start up businesses and they don't last very long because they haven't put together what they need, their plan of action, the real reason why they're starting their business. What is their passion? What is their purpose? What are their values? And that why is a really important part of that. And then why is their purpose? So starting up a business and creating something that can help someone else is a fabulous thing. But make sure you really know what you want to do and understand that there are a lot of hours you have to put in first up. It's not all just fun. It's hard work.
Yeah, I think you got to keep the fun there, though. I think there's definitely a balance there. You don't want it only to be hard work. There has to be some enjoyment there. Otherwise, you really will just burn out. And then, particularly if you've come from a corporate career where you were working very long hours and then you dive into business when suddenly you're working long hours again. If that wasn't your goal, then you're really, really off track. So yeah, you've got to find your boundaries, be clear on your values, and always keep reminding yourself, sometimes I can end up doing a lot of legal work. And whilst I love problem solving and that sort of thing, I do enjoy the fun side of business, which is for me a bit more, the marketing conversations like this. That's the fun bit, and it's good to make sure you've got a bit of that and celebrate your wins too. So don't just sort of go, oh, got that, and then move on to the next thing. You've got to pause and enjoy and say, yeah,
and it's
didn't
really
do too badly there.
It doesn't matter how big the win is, celebrate it. And that can be doing a happy dance. It doesn't matter what.
Yep. Like a good happy dance.
Yeah. But share it with others when you have a win, and if you need help, ask for help, because that's a really important part of business. You can work alone, but you can't do it alone. You have to have that outside help, the support, and so never be afraid to ask for that help either.
Absolutely. We're always part of a network, whether that's, a family or friends network or a business network. We're all an interrelated web in the world. And, if you need help, it's there. It's just a matter of asking for it. And I think there's a lot of fear and, the sort of individualism kind of philosophy that's developed. I think gradually we're trying to be more conscious of that and realize that, for example, to help my son grow into an adult, it takes a whole village to bring him up. Same with a business. I am so not doing it alone. I learn so much from every single client that I serve. So it's really a two-way street.
It's fabulous. We've just lost your.
Am I back?
Now, Davina, how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, so you can either just jump on my website, mumlawyer.com.au, or contact me through Faye.
Wonderful. And one tip that you could give someone who was in business and really struggling to get to the next step, what would you say to them?
Reach out for help, talk to someone, talk to, if your partner or your husband or close friend doesn't understand, find someone who does. I even, am quite happy to jump on a call with you. I do free introductory consultations. So reach out, you're never, ever alone.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Davina. I'm Faye.
More than welcome.
Pleasure. I'm Faye Waterman, and this is Talking All Things Business, and we'll be back with another entrepreneur, business owner soon. Bye for now.